All right, let's just jump right in. For centuries, we've had this picture of the human heart in our heads. You know, a simple four-chambered pump. But what if that basic image, the one that's in every single textbook, was missing the most incredible part of the story? What if the heart's real nature was a scientific marvel and a spiritual symbol, just hiding in plain sight all this time?
Yeah, you heard that right. For over 300 years, our fundamental understanding of the human heart has been, well, wrong. The model we all learned, the one established way back in the 17th century, turns out to be a totally incomplete picture. And the truth? Oh, it's so much more elegant and complex than we ever imagined.
So, to really get why this new discovery is so revolutionary, we have to appreciate the old puzzle. For anatomists, the heart's muscular structure was this notoriously difficult problem. They actually called it a kind of anatomical Gordian knot.
So the conventional view described a massive muscle with 4 separate chambers. The idea was they contract, and then they just passively relax to fill up with blood again. But the new discovery? It's incredible. It reveals that the heart isn't a collection of separate chambers at all. It's a single, continuous muscular band, basically a rope that's twisted into a spiral, a helix.
And look, this wasn't some recent confusion. This quote here from Professor Pettigrew, all the way back in 1864, shows that even the greatest minds in anatomy just couldn't figure it out. They literally confessed that they were unable to unravel it. The heart's true structure was a mystery that was locked away for centuries.
So, who finally untied this centuries-old knot? Well, the answer lies in the absolutely incredible 50-year quest of one very dedicated man. Now, this wasn't some sudden eureka moment in a lab. This was the entire life's work of a Spanish doctor, Francisco Torrent-Guasp. He started as a medical student back in the 1950s, and get this, he spent a staggering quarter of a century dissecting hearts, from sharks to cows to humans, because he was just convinced there was something more to the story.
So how do you do it? You know, the process itself sounds almost deceptively simple. First, the heart is boiled to soften up all the connective tissue. Then he'd carefully remove the major vessels. And then, and this is the key, using just his fingers, he would follow the natural grain of the muscle, gently separating the fibers until the entire structure just unfolded.
And this is the moment that completely rewrites the textbooks. What he revealed wasn't some complicated structure of 4 separate chambers. It was one single band of muscle, starting at the pulmonary artery and ending at the aorta, all looped and twisted into this beautiful, efficient helix. Anatomy had been hiding its most elegant secret all along.
Okay, so this isn't just a cool little anatomical fact. This new shape completely revolutionizes our understanding of how the heart actually works. See, it's not just a pump, it's an engine that literally twists and sucks.
There's a brilliant analogy for this. A healthy heart has this sort of elliptical, football shape. Doctors call it a Gothic heart, like a Gothic arch. It's strong and efficient. But a failing heart, it loses that shape and becomes spherical, like a basketball. They call that a Romanesque heart, and it's lost all its power. And here's the crucial point. That healthy, football-shaped heart twists to wring blood out, kind of like you're twisting a wet towel. Then it untwists really fast, which creates a vacuum that actively sucks blood back in for the next beat. The failing, basketball-shaped heart can't twist like that, so it can only fill passively with pressure, which is way less efficient and a key reason for heart failure.
I mean, just look at these numbers. This chart shows it all. In a healthy heart, a staggering 90% of its filling is thanks to this active suction. This just completely flips the old model of passive filling on its head and shows you exactly why that helical twist is so vitally important for our health.
Okay, so we've got this incredible, super efficient helical structure. It's a masterpiece of biological engineering. But that begs a much bigger question, doesn't it? Is this pattern unique to the heart? Or is this elegant spiral part of a much larger blueprint, a kind of cosmic flow that ancient thinkers have recognized for millennia?
Well, as it turns out, this spiral is literally everywhere. It's a master plan we see all throughout nature, from the tiny little spiral of a DNA molecule all the way up to the massive scale of a spiral galaxy. The heart's design, it seems, is just one expression of this universal principle of form and flow.
And this leads us to a really fascinating thought. What if this helical flow isn't just some recurring pattern that we see inside the universe? What if it's the fundamental pattern of the universe itself? A kind of cosmic rhythm that's echoing right inside our own bodies. You know, in ancient yogic philosophy, they actually have a name for this exact concept, prana. And it's not described as a thing, but as the ultimate, singular flow of all existence. It's this dynamic current, this activity prior to things that all forms, including us, temporarily emerge from.
So if prana is this universal current, is there some way to map how it flows within ourselves? Well, ancient traditions would say yes, absolutely. And the map is a symbol you probably already know, Om.
This table maps it out so beautifully. It suggests our biological processes are like little microcosms of this cosmic flow. Our inhalation mirrors the expansion of space. Our blood circulation maps the internal landscape of our own being. And the heartbeat? Well, that's the continuous arrival of existence itself. It's the now.
And that brings us to this really powerful visual connection. On the left, you have the scientific reality, the helical heart, that single band twisting in on itself. And on the right, you have the ancient spiritual symbol of Om. The resemblance is, well, it's pretty wild, isn't it? This parallel has led some people to this incredibly poetic conclusion that the physical twist of our heart is, in a way, Om written in flesh. It's a biological echo of a universal spiritual blueprint. So where does all this leave us? We've got two powerful stories here, one from meticulous scientific dissection and one from ancient spiritual insight. Let's try to bring them together for one final beat.
When you put them side by side, the parallels are just so clear. Science gives us the mechanics, this muscular band that creates an inner river of blood. Spirituality gives us the metaphysics, the body as this tiny reflection of a universal flow. One story is told through the language of anatomy, the other through the language of consciousness.
Which leads us to our final thought. A muscular rope twisting in our chest to give us life. A sacred vibration said to map the very nature of existence. Are these really two different stories? Or are they just two different languages? One ancient, one modern, trying to describe the exact same timeless rhythm that beats at the very center of everything.